Shuffle the deck and spread out the cards. Try to find the meaning. Pentacles, cups, swords, wands, and a hermit. What am I saying? This is pretty bad tarot. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Bad Tarot. I'm your host, Emily Milling, and every week I do a tarot reading for one of my friends who seems to think that this is a good idea. I'm still not convinced that it is, but I'm so lucky that this week I have comedian extraordinaire Christy Kay with me. She does so many amazing things that I'm just gonna let her introduce herself and talk about all the friggin' cool things that she does. Hey, Christy Kay, what's going on? Tell me all about you.
Hi, Emily. I am so honored and privileged to be on your show. Okay, so intros. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm a physical performer. I'm an aerialist. I also do lots of comedy, and I pretend to be funny, or at least I try to be. So I do stand up.
You are hilarious. You're so funny.
Oh, she's too nice. She's too nice. I love you. And I do. Emily and I are in a sketch troupe together. She's in lots. I'm only in one. And I think I think it's a working. We have like a working name. But it's a school and around kind of project. I also do ADHD research because I'm a PhD researcher and PhD and a PhD. In ADHD. So my PhD is in ADHD and
ADHD
and resilience factors. And the reason why I study ADHD is because I have it. So yay! That's it for me.
This is going to be such an ADHD recording. I'm so excited. I had another ADHD pal on maybe like the week before this one, if I'm trying to remember the schedule correctly, but it was like we went on various different tangents, and I'm 100% sure that's what's going to happen here. But I think what's super cool is like, for those of you who don't have ADHD and you're like, wow, what's that all about? I can't remember what I was going to say. I remember. It's that like the fact that you are actually able to get to a level of doing a PhD in ADHD. Like that is such a massive accomplishment for someone with ADHD. Like it's freaking hard to do shit sometimes, but you are blazing trails for all of us, and you're just so cool, and you're such an important part of the ADHD community. Like you make everyone feel good about themselves, and it's super awesome to have you, and you're very funny, and you make me laugh a lot, and you write the weirdest sketches that I love. Like I'm trying to think back to, you wrote the one about like the Wizard of Oz thing, like a weird trip. Yeah.
Yes. Where you wrote that one. Yeah. So it was like the Wizard of Oz, and they go to a rave. It's the first time.
Yeah.
The lion goes to a rave, and he has a psychedelic experience.
It's so good. Yeah, I remember that well. And like seeing, what did you make Vivek dress up as Dorothy or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was Dorothy.
Oh, that was so good. And you made him like run through the crowd and everything. That was a fun time. That was a very excellent fun time. That was like, I think that was the last show before we all shut down. And I really hope that we get to do more shows in the future. It's going to be good. It's going to be blast. Then we can see more sketch from you. But you also do stand-up. Where do you do stand-up right now?
Oh, I do it in the comfort of my parents' house. I do bi-weekly stand-up show, and I host it with my friend Andy Wong. So I love Zoom comedy, especially stand-up. So that's bi-weekly. It's called Sit Down Stand-Up.
Sit down,
comedy.
Stand up. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, we'll put the links to that in the show notes, of course, and we'll get to all of the plugs at the end of the show. But right now, this is a very important moment in time. We got to answer a question for you. I got to do a pretty bad tarot reading for you, and I can't wait. I have not looked at my cards in I really don't know how long, so I'm very out of practice. But let's get to your question. What do you want to ask the old cards today?
Oh, okay. I have a question. It is, will people think my stand-up or sketch comedy is funny?
I mean, yes. But let's ask the cards. Okay, let's see. Will they think that it's funny? Okay. Will they think your stand-up and sketch comedy is funny? So let's do like a past, present, future spread. Let's see what was happening in the past for comedy for you, the present, what's happening in the future for comedy. Because I know for sure that your comedy is friggin' hilarious. So, like, I'm not worried about that. Yeah? What?
Okay, me? Let's add an ADHD. So will people find, we'll put the ADHD part in it too.
Okay, so same question, but with ADHD. Will the ADHD people think the ADHD comedy is funny with their ADHD brains? And or will the neurotypicals also think that it's funny? I think they will too. I speak for all neurotypicals because I'm not one. So, they speak for us all the time. I think it's fine for us to speak for them once in a while. All right, let's do past, present, future. Okay, in your past, you've got the Princess of Cups, which is dreams. And then in the present, you've got the Chariot. And then in the future, you've got Prince of Cups, reverse, introspection. Okay, so first of all, I guess, what is this dream? Maybe you had dreams before, or maybe you were just like dreaming your comedy bits previously, like you came up with your comedy ideas in your dreams, or maybe you had just like big old aspirations or something. I can't tell if she's pregnant. No, that's just her hip. Her hip's sticking out. So maybe, because when you have dreams about being pregnant and then it's just like, this is a new idea that's coming to fruition. Anyway, I just was looking at the card wrong. But anyway, so in the past, maybe
pregnancy. Yeah. It's like, I always think of like ideas as like pregnant thoughts, right? Because they don't always also come to fruition. And sometimes they do.
That's very true and very upsetting when it doesn't come to fruition. It's a very sad thing. And then, okay, we got dark there for a second. And then, so in the present, now you've got the Chariot. And so this is like supposed to be like something that is carrying you. Maybe it's carrying your pregnancy dreams to the future of like future pregnancies. You're going to have at least 17 is what I'm predicting, not a psychic. And then that's going to lead you to like sit in a bog upside down with a cup and think about what you've done. That's really what I'm getting here so far. What do you think? Is any of this resonating? Are you thinking that you maybe will go to sit in a bog one day like this Prince of Cups here?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I can totally see it. Yes. The pregnant dreams coming to fruition of ADHD. And then as it carries through my journey into this Man of Cups who's upside down.
He's upside down. He's in a... So it's the introspection card. And I know that because it's written on here. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. And so maybe it's like you got to like shake out the introspection out of your brain. Maybe you've just been like introspecting like way too much. And you're like, I don't want to introspect. I want to outrospect. I'm going to do an outro right now. Thanks for listening. Bye. That's not it. This is not the end of the episode. I just wanted to do an outrospection. Just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Yeah. All right. So currently there's something like carrying you. I don't know. I guess we have to go a little bit deeper, but yeah, so far this feels like it's maybe like resonating like a little bit or something.
It totally resonates. I feel that. I feel it. It's a pretty good tarot reading.
Okay. All right. So let's go a little deeper into the past, shall we? So first we've got, the Prince of Swords, determination, but he's upside down. So maybe you were like, oh yeah, I've got all these dreams and I'm determined to make them happen. Then boom, something happens, a pandemic. And you're like, well, fuck my fucking life. And then you've got isolation. Very, very typical. The Eight of Swords. And then you've got the Four of Pentacles. And that is supposed to be stability. And these are all upside down. Cool. And it's sort of like, or no, this one isn't upside down. This one is like, yeah, you're totally isolated. And yeah, we all kind of were isolated after all these dreams. And then like your stability is gone. Like you had these plans for comedy, I'm assuming, because we all did. And then they were just like, well, fuck you. There's nothing happening at all. However, in here, I don't see that no one liked your comedy so far. I think because I just believe everybody likes your comedy. Truly. So,
yes. So I'm going to jump in and say yes. Before I forget this tangential but relevant idea with your tarot reading. So I'm going to the upside down Man of the Swords. I don't think I've told you this yet. So my preliminary research for ADHD, so it's about like ADHD and also during the pandemic and the relationship between physical activity and resilience factors. So unlike the typical population, this is just my sample right now though, right? Which you have so graciously also participated in. So So unlike some of the research that shows that people with ADHD aren't adjusting very well, my research though, preliminarily, is actually showing the opposite, that people with ADHD are actually thriving and flourishing in the pandemic, unlike some other people or like a typical population. So like one of my theories is that because people with ADHD have, endured a lot of strife in their life, right? Like, as I'm sure being in a classroom with ADHD, like, and teachers aren't like the happiest people to have a child with ADHD, right?
Yeah.
But like those things really, they build resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like it hasn't been easy, but because of those stripes, it made us more adaptable during the pandemic.
Interesting.
Right? So,
I thought you were going to say is because we have like the memories of a goldfish and literally can't remember 2 minutes ago, like what was going on. Like, I don't know about you. When bad things happen to me, I'm like, oh, that fucking sucks. Hey, did you know that there's coconut whipped cream now? I really love it. Like that is like actually my life. And then I'm like, okay.
That is my life too.
I'm like, okay, I got to process this because every morning I journal now and I'm like, what happened yesterday? I got to reflect. I got to process. And so much of my journaling lately has been like, I don't remember most of last year. And maybe this is a good thing because I'm like, I just haven't got a clue. I was like very much tuned out to the whole situation. And I was like, really the thing I remember most is watching Outlander in the wintertime. It took up most of my time. And like, it's not like big things haven't happened, but I'm like, no, it's just this show about this Scottish couple, the guy, and that's it. Just Outlander, and there's like a lot of blood and poop.
Do you? And like that's what I did too. I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna have to watch a lot of Netflix, or like we'll just do comedy on Zoom, which I actually quite enjoy. And this podcast, did it also come before or pre-pandemic or during pandemic?
No, this came when I was on vacation like 4 weeks ago.
Like, I love it.
I took a week off and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? And I'm sitting there and I'm like super bored. And then I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do this. This sounds like a great idea. Because I was like, I want to do tarot cards now. I'm sick of watching Outlander and Fresh Prince. I'll do tarot. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do this really bad podcast. I must start a new podcast. So,
Oh my God. You were you're corroborating my evidence and my theory about like, so you were bored, right? And you're like, I'm gonna do this because I want to continue comedy. I want to continue comedy, and it's just something interesting to do too, right? It's because like you want to be stimulated, and that was also my experience. I'm like, oh, like I can't go out to do open mics, so and I can't do aerial work, so I'll just do Zoom comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it also corroborates the fact that, or my theory that, people who have experienced ADHD or, strife early on in life, have built a lot of resilience factors, helping us to cope through the pandemic.
We're so cool.
I don't think, I know. So yeah, thanks for corroborating that. Cause like, and giving me further evidence, or anecdotal evidence at least, that
what I'm thinking too,
you're flourishing.
Now that I'm totally cutting you off because I have ADHD, you can still do.
Never feel cut off is good, please.
You can still do your aerial stuff with your curtains that are behind you.
Oh my God,
tried
yes.
Because I know you do like all the silks and everything. So like, can you like curl yourself up in those? Or will they just fall off the wall?
I think they might just fall off, but we can always try. And we should definitely tape it so that it wouldn't go to waste.
Exactly. I mean, it would be a good comedy bit anyway. Oh, man. Maybe that's the chariot. That's what the chariot is that's carrying you towards the next steps of your future and your life of comedy.
Oh, I like this already. I love this already. Through carrying it through my curtains.
Yes,
carrying it through curtains.
Through the curtains, through the window. Okay, so let's look a little further then into the present of your ADHD comedy. So you've got the Seven of Cups. You've got choices here. Cool.
Ooh, I see. I see.
And because this chariot happens to have these two different horses, that also kind of looks like a choice to me. It's like you could choose one or the other, and it's like a clear cut thing. Maybe, I don't know. And then you've got the sun, and that's supposed to be a really good card. I'm not totally sure why, but it's supposed to be really good. And then you've got the magician, but he's upside down, and he's supposed to be like, you can have whatever you want, but you're not like giving yourself the opportunity to do that because it's upside down. But like, if you can harness the power of the chariot and the sun, maybe for whatever it is you actually want, maybe you can turn him right side up. I don't know though. I don't know. So the whole question was around like, are people gonna like your comedy? And I think this is what this is saying is like, you got to make the choice that they are gonna like it, because like they're gonna like whatever the fuck you put out there because you're just a funny person. Like, there's no question about it. And then you've got this introspection upside down guy. That's what's happening. When you go to the bog with your cup and you sit in the bog, you've got to figure out how to flip it all around. Oh my gosh.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Okay, let's look at the future. Oh, you've got the hermit. Stop sitting there alone, madame. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know. Okay. I just sort of feel like usually when I see the hermit, I'm like, yeah, maybe you do need some time for introspection. But like, I think she's like, now I want to stay inside forever. But like, I think with this chariot and the choice you have to make and all of this stuff, it's like, I don't think you're really supposed to. I think if you make the decision to go in whatever direction you're going presently, then you're going to just stay inside a lot longer. And by inside, I mean like pandemic or otherwise, you're just going to like stay emotionally inside and not let things out. And then you've got the Eight of Pentacles, which is dedication. And then finally, what's that? Reliability. Reverse. The Prince of Pentacles. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what those other cards mean. What does this mean now? What does it mean to you? Because I'm stumped.
Oh, the upside down pentacle?
Yeah, this Prince of Pentacles, reliability, and then the Eight of Pentacles, which is dedication. Maybe you're like really dedicated and stuff to your reliable sitting at home or something. I have no idea.
Oh, I'll do interpret. Can I do an interpretation?
Interpret away.
Okay. Does it work? Does it work if I interpret it too?
I have no idea. Okay. I think so.
Okay, let's go for it. So, I would think that like, people with ADHD, I'm just going to go back to, so the literature says that we aren't reliable, but we actually are reliable because, there is also research shows that, despite the fact that, sometimes, as I'm sure you know, working memory is not our forte.
No.
But but there are wonderful aspects of us, like we're very loyal people. Anecdotally too, in like qualitative research, like loyalty. Also, we are actually quite dependable. Perhaps maybe not always prompt, okay, but always dependable. Like I can always, I know if someone with ADHD is going to show up. Perhaps maybe not on time, although you're always on time. I'm not.
Calendars always make me on time.
Reliable.
If I don't have them, I die.
Oh, I know. Me too. Although I think yours is quite a bit more reliable than mine. But
it's also like incredibly full. It's like literally, and it's all color coded. And then if I don't get a reminder for a thing, I don't show up to it. And it's not malicious. It's just my phone didn't give me a reminder, and I didn't know to show up.
Yes.
Ugh, sigh.
Oh, and sorry, a little tangential, but still related. There is a new study about ADHD and entrepreneurship. And I can send it to you later too, that people with ADHD actually are, more likely to engage and be successful in entrepreneurship because there's a scale, and it's about being open-minded and open to new ideas and being spontaneous, right? So,
interesting.
And then also not taking as many risks as one would think, contrary to previous research that were very impulsive. This study was showing that and suggesting that because of previous, a lot of research has shown that a lot of previous experiences with people with ADHD, sometimes they've had negative experiences in life because of their impulsiveness. So they're much more reserved, right? And yeah.
Right here.
So when it comes to actually taking risks, they're more open-minded about it, but then also reserved at the same time. So but the ability to actually go, like, jump on in and be open-minded about, not so traditional types of thought is very conducive to entrepreneurship.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, in the entrepreneur world, they're always saying, like, don't worry so much about the how, just worry about the vision and do the things that get you towards the vision, which is super true. I mean, like, if you worry too much about the how, you'll never jump into anything. You'll never make anything happen. But I mean, I think too, the life experience has taught me that if I am impulsive and I do impulsive things, it will hurt people, or I will do something bad. And then I was also thinking too, because now I kind of forget what I was going to say, but then I remembered another thing I wanted to say, which was, and I'm trying to remember again what it was. Oh, do you think that we are maybe considered to be more impulsive because, like, we're super fucking bored and stuck in, like, neurotypical things, usually, like, in school, when the typical like boys only ADHD symptoms occur?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Drives me
such
crazy.
a good point. Such a good point, because, like, I think, people when they think of ADHD or an ADHD child as, like, that boy who's running around the classroom, right? Being very annoying, but that's not, like, at all, as I'm sure your experience as a person who identifies as female and has ADHD, because, like, we're really the child in the back corner. Like, I'm in class, but I'm just mind wandering and not paying attention.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Or I'm, talking at great lengths to my sister who also has ADHD. My poor family, like, we're all ADHD, like 5 of us.
Yeah.
It's a blended family. It's a blended family, but, like, they being my step siblings, they were all diagnosed when they were kids, and I was diagnosed as an adult, and I'm pretty sure my brother has ADHD, but has never been diagnosed. So, like, 5 of us shrieking all day, every other weekend. And, like, my poor parents, it was fun, no. But yeah, we got in trouble a lot for talking, just always talking all the time.
I loved it. Hyperactivity is also manifested in being loquacious and talking a lot. Hence,
loquacious, what a cool word. What does that mean?
It means talkative, extremely talkative. I know.
That's me. I'm loquacious. Wow.
I'm loquacious. I'm extremely loquacious. But because it's highly genetic, so obviously all the things that are ADHD that make me.
I think the other fun thing about ADHD is that, like, you're super quick and, like, you can come up with ridiculous jokes super fast, which I also love. Because I think without it,
Thank you.
I'd be like sitting there wondering, like, how do I make joke now? But, like, I'm always forcing myself now to be like, how do I make a joke out of what someone just said? And then I realized that I'm trying to make a joke out of someone talking about something really serious and personal and deep. And I'm like, okay, bring it back to reality, Emily. Come back to this person is dumping their heart and soul out to you. Stop trying to crack jokes. So that's the one downside. But, it does really help with improv, which is fun. I like that too.
Yeah, someone should do a study on improv and ADHD, actually. I bet you, it's because, like, the randomness, right? The randomness and the and I don't know, like, if when we hear back our podcast or like our conversation, it seemingly is tangential, but it's not, right? I think we had this conversation before that, like to someone who's neurotypical, it's not a linear way of thinking. But can I tell you this very, very interesting study?
Yes.
About people with ADHD.
Yes.
So there's this very well-known study. I'm going to tell you anyway. But so it's so they had 2 groups of children, one with ADHD and one without ADHD, and they showed the storybook about a lily pad and a frog, and the frog jumps on the lily pad, and then the frog jumps off the lily pad. Very, like, elementary speaking. And you'd think that the children without ADHD told the story in that way. But the children with ADHD told it in this way. And then the frog jumped back onto the lily pad, and then the lily pad jumped off, and then it was just all in different kind of directions before they got to the the end, right? And
Huh.
so, which suggests that children with ADHD don't really think in a linear way as the way children without ADHD perceive or storytell, at least, right? So I
I
wonder,
can't
does
wrap my
that
head around
resonate?
like, yeah, how do you tell a story linearly without all of the extra pieces? Because the extra pieces
Yeah.
are what make it fun. Although I will
Yes,
say
exactly.
that like taking improv classes definitely helped my storytelling abilities because I was like never getting to the point and just like leaving it like halfway through and then the frog jumped off the end. And then I don't tell you anything else. I have no idea. And nobody ever knows what happened because I forgot to finish the story,
Yes.
which
Yes.
will
Those,
happen.
oh my goodness. I used to tell jokes like when I was younger, like when I was much like adolescent years. I would get so excited telling jokes. I would forget the setup and just tell the punchline. Like it would just come out. and then neurotypicals would be like, what? What's
my
the
God.
joke?
So I edit podcasts for my business, right? And I've got another client who has ADHD as well. And I noticed it like immediately on the discovery column, like, oh, I see you moving around a lot and I see your eyes going like literally everywhere. I'm like, okay, I'll make this fast so that we can hold everybody's attention, get off this call ASAP. So I was editing a podcast that he sent over and he referenced something from a movie, like a joke, and it seemed like the other people in the recording didn't understand it because they obviously hadn't heard of the movie. And so I sent him a Vox, like a voice memo, like on Voxer, and I was like, "Oh my God, this joke is so funny! Ha 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 ha!" And then I realized, like 10 seconds later, like, wait, you weren't in my head when I was like editing all of this, and he was probably like, "Wait, what are you talking about? What joke?" So I just immediately sent another Vox, and I'm like, sorry about that, but I thought you might appreciate this ADHD moment. You were not in my head while I was having this conversation, and I was talking about this episode that I'm currently editing. Anyway, it was ridiculous.
Oh, I
Just
love
like,
it. I love it.
who knows? When you have a thought,
That's
like,
so,
you have to get it out. Otherwise, it's gone forever.
it's gone
Do you
forever.
think that's a frustrating part of, like, creativity, though? So you got to, like, always be recording, like Jack Black says in Tenacious D, ABR. Or whatever. Otherwise, you lose it and it's gone.
Yes,
yeah,
it's true. It is,
yeah.
and then it's gone forever.
Okay, so speaking of gone forever, your comedy's not gone forever. I really don't know what the rest of these cards mean, but I think generally what I'm seeing here is that like you got to make a choice to put yourself out there and fully embrace what you want people to know and see you as, and then otherwise, you're going to sit at home and not do that, and people will never know. I think that's what is what I'm seeing. The end of the reading.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's very optimistic, and I feel great about myself. So thank you.
So would you say that this made your life better or worse?
Oh, totally better. Totally better.
Yes.
Totally
Yes.
better. I'm going
Amazing.
to I'm going to yes, convincingly and commit myself fully to doing comedy with ADHD, little interspersing tidbits of stuff and my research in it too.
I'm so happy, and this episode of Pretty Bad Tarot is kind of like a great way to kick it off because we legit just talked about all of the studies and did comedy things, and then and now it's recorded and it's the thing now. Yay! Yay! Oh my God. All right. Let's get to the part of the show where you plug all of your stuff. What do you want people to go check out and see and do and think and feel and emote and eat?
I love it. Okay. So my Instagram is Saint_Christy. That's my Ariel account. You can come watch me and be on my show. Stand up, sit down comedy bi-weekly, and I'll drop the link with Emily. You can watch our sketch when it comes about, and eat delicious things. Participate in my ADHD study. I'll also send it in the link. And if you have ADHD, please know that you are a gift to the world. And our world would be so much less interesting without people like us.
So true. It's so true. I love all of this. Yes, all of this will be in the show notes so that everyone can go follow and everything. I got one more thing before we go. I want you to ask a yes or no question. And then, is the same helicopter that just went by you going by me? I feel like it is.
Yes.
Cool. We actually live really close to each other. That's interesting.
Oh my God. I heard that too.
Sometimes, like, if I look out the window and I'm on a call and they're doing construction, I'm like, there's a man on the roof, and everyone gets terrified, but I just cannot stop myself from blurting it out. Okay. So where were we before that happened? Ask a yes or no question and I will answer it for you.
Okay. Do you like? Is it just a yes or no question?
Yeah.
Do you? Is this with a tarot reading or just a regular yes or no question?
It's for the cards. It's not for me.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it back and be on task. Okay, I'm gonna be on task. The yes or no question is, will it pertain to you or to pertain to me?
To you.
Pertain to me. Oh, you may. Directions are no. I swear. I swear. Okay, my question, yes or no. Will I make an indie film about ADHD and comedy in the future?
What does that say? Oh, wealth reversed. I don't know why it's upside down. I feel like that should be right side up. But I think this is a yes. But it might cost you a lot of money. I think maybe that's what it's saying. It's a yes, and it might cost you a lot of money. So just prepare for that. And I would totally fucking help you with that. That sounds like an amazing project.
Okay. Amazing. I love this. I love this tarot reading. And I love it. It's very empowering.
Hooray! All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Pretty Bad Tarot. Of course, I am Emily Milling. I have something coming out this week. I don't know what yet because I have not written the sketch that I'm supposed to put out on Wednesdays. And I got to film something and write it and film it and whatever order that comes, I guess. And then that will be out. You can listen to this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, or you can watch it on YouTube and see the decks, the cards of the deck reveal themselves and the video. I think I need another coffee, and that's it for the day. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and good day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to Pretty Bad Tarot with me, your host, Emily Milling. If you want to hear new episodes every Friday, make sure you follow this podcast wherever you listen. And hey, I'd love it if you left a review. You can even ask me a yes or no question and I just might answer it on the show. This podcast is produced by The Ultimate Creative.